Hey everybody, ready to hear some about Trump's bullshit in the Middle East? Oh, I can't wait. I love it, don't you? So from Reuters, it says U.S. to strengthen troop presence near Syrian oil fields, Pentagon chief. The United States will strengthen its military presence in Syria with mechanized forces to prevent Islamic State fighters seizing oil fields and revenue. The U.S. Defense Secretary said on Friday the latest twist in President Donald Trump's confusing policy in Syria. Yeah, it's very confusing. He's a hypocrite. That's what he is. He's a freaking hypocrite. Pull out means pull out. Not partial, not halfway, not at all. It means pull out. Trump has been softening his pullout plans for Syria after backlash from Congress, including among key Republicans, who say he enabled a long-threatened Turkish incursion against Kurdish forces in Syria, who had been America's top allies in the battle against the Islamic State. We are now taking some actions to strengthen our position at Deir al-Zor to ensure that we can deny ISIS access to the oil fields, Defense Secretary Mark Esper told reporters during a press conference using an acronym for Islamic State. We are enforcing that position. It will include some mechanized forces, Esper said. Mechanized forces usually include tanks and other military assets. He did not say how many forces were currently in the region or how many additional forces would be sent. Any significant U.S. military presence on the ground would need to be properly defended from potential attack, particularly in oil-rich areas of Syria that could become targets of not just Islamic State militants, but potentially Russian-backed or Iran-backed forces operating in the country. So it looks like it's still really just about oil, huh? Go figure. We're basically all living in a giant oil-guzzling monster. The American empire never ends. The vacuum left by Trump's partial withdrawal has created an opening that Russia exploited by moving forces into the area. U.S. officials worry that Iran-backed forces in Syria could also capitalize on the chaos. Around 300 more Russian and military police have arrived in Syria, the Russian Defense Ministry said on Friday, under an accord between Ankara and Moscow, which halted Turkey's military incursion into northeast Syria. Amid fears that Islamic State could stage a comeback, Trump said on Wednesday a small number of U.S. troops would remain in the area of Syria where they have the oil, a reference to oil fields in the Kurdish-controlled region. On Thursday, Trump said on Twitter that the oil is secured and that our soldiers have left and are leaving Syria for other places. Esper said his Turkish counterpart had told him that Ankara had recaptured some of 100 Islamic State militants who are believed to have escaped from prison in Syria as a result of the Turkish incursion. Esper met Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar on Friday in Brussels during a NATO meeting. NATO allies discussed Syria on Thursday, including a German proposal for a multilateral force to patrol a safe zone in northeastern Syria. Here's a thought. Why not make your pullout totally and absolutely complete, Mr. Trump? Why not pull them all the way out and stop worrying about the oil? Because guess what? It's not yours. It's not our oil. It's not ours. It's the Syrians' oil. It's their oil. And if they want to share it with the Turks or with the Russians, that's their business. And if the Turks or Russians steal their oil from them, then it's their problem to deal with. It's got nothing to do with us. It's not our oil, not our country, not our fight. Hell, it was the Europeans who created this mess in the first place. Let them clean it up. Why do we even care so damn much? We don't actually care. We just want oil. Trump's final decision on this proved that. Just flat out, it proved it. It's always about oil. Always has been, always will be. The foreign interventionism of this country sits on a throne. It virtue signals that we're helping people with their problems. And then we get the oil. And virtue signaling, by the way, is nothing new. It's not a matter of being an SJW or being a leftist. Virtue signaling is simply finding out what is commonly considered moral and then making it look like you're in line with that morality to win respect points. It's all about keeping up appearances. Virtue signaling is literally just about making yourself look virtuous rather than actually being virtuous. Anyone can do it. And that's precisely what this government is doing. Virtue signaling while really just going over there to steal the oil. To steal oil that is simply not ours. They're worried about someone else stealing what they themselves were stealing. And they don't want to be called out on that. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if this video could someday lead me to being deplatformed, or getting ratioed out of existence. But they can't shut me up. They can't. They never will. I'm just too stubborn. It'll be their will against my will, and I'm going to win because I'm more willful than them. They'll have to kill me. Anyway, peace.